Andrew Napolitano, the legal analyst, formerly with Fox News, now with Newsmax, is going to join us. And considering where he has worked, his take may be surprising, but he's a straight shooter. He's not going to just shape things to say things so he can say what some of his audience wants, which is part of the reason I like him. Andrew Napolitano.
Hello, my handsome friend, one of the smartest lawyers I have ever known. How are you, Dan?
I was just celebrating you before the break. You didn't get to hear it. I'll do it again so you can hear it. Glad to have you on. And I have been laying out both of the Signal Gate and the IG report on Hegseth, but we're going to really talk more about the drug boats.
Sure.
And the attacks.
Sure. I actually know more now than I did a half an hour ago because I just watched Congressman Hines' description of the tapes that were shown to them in secret.
Did it change your view?
Not at all. It reinforced my view. I will tell you that he said publicly he saw two people injured, in distress, clinging to debris, murdered by the United States government.
And Hines is he a Democrat?
He's a Democrat from Connecticut.
Okay, right. All right, good. We're going to bump in with a soundbite of Tom Cotton.
Thank Admiral Bradley and General Kane for coming to brief about the strikes on September 2nd, which were righteous strikes. These are narco-terrorists who are trafficking drugs that are destined for the United States to kill thousands of Arkansans and millions of Americans. The first strike, the second strike, and the third and the fourth strike on September 2nd were entirely lawful
5 seconds.
And needful, and they were exactly what we would expect our military commanders to do.
I mean, that is Senator Tom Cotton. You can agree with him. We need to target narco-terrorists. You can agree with him that a lot of horrible things happen as a result of them. I still don't see how you can agree with him that it is somehow legal and lawful. Joining us now is Judge Andrew Napolitano, former New Jersey Superior Court judge. He is now the Newsmax senior judicial analyst. He's the host of the podcast Judging Freedom. He posts there each week. Andrew used to be the judicial analyst for Fox News. And so, you hear Fox News, you hear Newsmax, you may think, oh, well, I know. The good thing about Andrew Napolitano is he's going to call him like he sees him, all right? He's not going to just cater his opinion to try to satisfy an audience. And I think that's why people like listening to him, is because, liberals aren't going to, I'm not suggesting liberals are going to love Napolitano, but the bottom line is that he plays it straight, tries to call him as he sees him. And he's done that with regard to these drug boats, because I saw that he has recently said that he doesn't see the legal basis for it. But let him speak for himself. Judge Napolitano, good to have you.
It's a pleasure, my dear friend. You and I have worked together for many years. Congratulations on all of your projects. Just to remind the world, I once carried the briefcase for your father in a very, 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 three very famous defamation case against the New York Times. I was the young lawyer on the team. Before you and I met, we have since collaborated during your illustrious career, and it's a pleasure to be on your show.
All right. So look, A, tell us your view, and B, you say that you've just gotten an update in the last half hour, which impacts your view of what's going on. Lay it out for us.
My view is that there is no lawful basis for the United States military to kill non-combatants. The law, in fact, absolutely prohibits it, no matter what the president wants to call them. Dan, because you're a smart lawyer, the phrase narco-terrorist is a political phrase. There is no such phrase in the law. There is no such definition in the law. And uttering that phrase, as Senator Cotton just did in the clip that you just played, does not give the president any extra constitutional authority. There's only two ways the executive branch can kill. One is pursuant to a declaration of war enacted by Congress, not relevant here. The other is after due process, a fair jury trial, which didn't happen here. With those of us from a law enforcement background, it is absolutely idiotic to kill these people. If you really think they're involved in a massive drug trade, arrest them, and you'll gain a lot of evidence about where the drugs have come from. What I have learned in the past half hour was a clip that was shown to me by one of my producers. I don't remember where, on whose network it appeared, of Congressman Jim Hines, Hines, Democrat of Connecticut, who was visibly disturbed as he walked out of the hearing room. Why are these hearings in secret? We should all have seen whatever General Kane and Admiral Bradley claim as their justification, whatever.
Yep,
Congressman Hines said he saw two people injured, in distress, fighting to stay alive, clinging to debris from the boat, murdered by the United States government, and he was repulsed by it. So if Admiral Bradley thinks that that is somehow a defense because there were drugs on the boat, the Admiral needs to go back to basic training. He may get a lesson in the law at his own court-martial.
So two separate issues here, right? Number one is it legal to be targeting these boats at all? Number two is this second strike on the boat. It would seem to me that the second question is an even easier one, right?
I agree with you. Right? The second one is much easier because not only is it not legal to strike those who've been shipwrecked, but there's an affirmative obligation under the Uniform Code of Military Justice to rescue those who've been shipwrecked. Can you shoot at a guy who's thrown his arms down and is raising his hands and waving a white flag? Of course not. Can you shoot at a pilot whose plane you've just shot down? Of course not. Can you shoot at somebody whom you've shipwrecked? Of course not. So that's an easy one. The first one, in my view, is easy as well. Can the police in Chicago or New York who see major drugs being distributed by a nonviolent person just go up and shoot them? Of course not. We have the requirements of due process. This is an easier case. It's not in the United States. It's not in waters the United States claims. It's the military acting as the world's policeman 1,500 miles from the United States.
But Judge Andrew Napolitano, the argument from the administration is these guys got back on the boat. They were calling for, you can say calling it for help. They would say they were calling for backup, potentially to take the drugs and continue the effort. What do you make of that argument?
It still doesn't justify killing them because they are non-violent. They are non-combatants. I don't know how the Admiral could know who they were talking, but let's say they were calling another boat. Come and save us. Who wouldn't call for a rescue in that situation?
I made the same point before. Now, you just made a pretty strong comment that he can say that at his court-martial. Do you actually believe that there's any chance that anyone involved in this is going to be court-martialed?
Not under Secretary Hegseth. Maybe under Secretary Driscoll, who will probably succeed him when Trump has had enough of this nonsense. Combine this with the Signalgate, in which he put the lives of other people at jeopardy. Look, I have to add here, and I've neglected to do it, and it's my fault, what I said at Newsmax 2 or 3 days ago. This gives me no joy. I worked with him on an almost daily basis at Fox News for 7 or 8 years. I'm trying to be intellectually honest, but it is not a joyful thing to do. I know him. I've had dinner with him. I've laughed with him. I've joked with him. His best friend at Princeton he's a Princeton graduate, is the son of one of my best friends at Princeton. We have this connection, but his behavior is criminal.
Do you get a lot of blowback when you say something like that on Newsmax?
In social media, not from my friends here. I have a friend, I won't give you his name, who's a lawyer and retired JAG officer. And he informed me this morning that he was on a Zoom call with 19 retired JAG officers, Navy JAG, and every one of them agreed with my analysis. I thought he was coming to tell me the opposite, to be honest with you.
I haven't heard a single, and I'm sure there is one out there, right? I'm sure there's a former JAG person who's somehow defending this, but I haven't heard them yet, meaning that if you have both a military and a legal background, I don't see how you can possibly justify. And look, I'm with you. The attacks on the boats are very hard to justify legally. The second shot on the boat is impossible to justify legally.
Agreed, yeah.
And I have not heard a single credible former, and again, so I know someone's going to call in and say, well, it was a guy, I saw him, it was on this podcast. I'm sure there's someone out there, but the vast majority of them know that there's no way. And that's the crazy thing. It feels like we are living in an upside down world.
I have been taunting the Attorney General to release the legal opinion that the Office of Legal Counsel gave her. I mean, it's the same office that told George W. Bush he could torture and Barack Obama he could kill 2 Americans, one of whom was 16 years old, when they were peacefully sitting at a cafe in Yemen. But these are the best and the brightest the DOJ has. Show us what your legal argument is and allow public scrutiny. It's inconceivable to me how a legal argument can be secret. It's based on public law. I don't know of any secret laws. I doubt you do either.
Yeah. But look, we've now heard the explanation, right? I mean, Hegseth has given, the public defense of this, right? Which is this idea that, they were getting back in the game. And all the media organizations were given this information from Hegseth. And that seems to be their defense, but I just don't see how that changes anything legal.
Well, if Congressman Hines has his wish and that tape is made public, then 330 million Americans can form their own opinion and they'll probably be repulsed by it.
Yeah.
Did Congress declare war on these people around Venezuela? Did I miss something?
No. I mean, look, I don't get it. And I was relieved to hear your analysis. I think in the environment we live in, it requires a level of bravery to take a position that much of the audience of folks who are going to be following you are not going to be happy with. But that's the law, man. The law is sometimes not going to come out in the way that you want it. It's not a policy choice. It's a legal analysis.
If you and I, and we both do the same thing for a living, if you and I only said what we thought our audiences wanted to hear, who would bother listening to us?
Well, I'll tell you this. There are a lot of people who do that, Judge. There are a lot of people out there. All they do is say things that they know their audience wants to hear. And when they know that it's indefensible, they don't talk about it. That's the way they deal with it. It happens on the left and it happens on the right. And the truth is that people like you and like me and others who are independent and straight shooting legal analysts, they're not that many left in the environment that we live in. I mean, you see Andrew Weissman on MSNBC, you see Jonathan Turley on Fox, and occasionally I'll agree with Weissman, occasionally I'll agree with Turley, but so much of the time I'm like, come on, man,
right. Are
you really shaping this analysis to just make sure your audience is okay? This isn't true.
100%. Having been there, and you having been there, I'm 100% with you. Dan, it's been a pleasure. I must run, but thank you very much.
Judge Andrew Napolitano. The podcast is called Judging Freedom.